Greetings and hello. In this video, I'm going to share with you the difference between a funnel and a workflow in GoHighLevel. So basically, the difference between a funnel and a workflow is quite simple. If you can imagine this, a funnel is what your customer actually sees, and a workflow is what happens behind the scenes. So let's break this down. All right. So a funnel is like the journey your customer takes through an asset perspective, from an assets perspective. So you could think of it like a slide at a playground. Your customer might climb up, it might click your link, and then it slides down, it reads your page, and then it lands at the bottom and it either buys your product or it signs up as a lead. So, pretty much, funnels are made up of landing pages, checkout pages, and thank you pages, and you can control what they see and what order they see it in. So, for the most part, the way I like to think about it is like this. A funnel are the assets. Those are the digital assets that your customer will see when they actually try to buy something from you. So, like if you are looking to get leads, it could be your landing pages, it could be your sales pages. If you're looking to build, a complete funnel out or a complete website out, it could be like your long sales page. Definitely, you want to include a checkout page. Sometimes your sales page and your checkout page, or your landing page and your checkout page, could be the same. And then you're going to have your thank you page, of course, which is the page that you use to deliver your asset, your digital asset. Now, what is a workflow? A workflow is really everything that happens kind of automatically behind the scenes. So, if you could imagine like a team of robots that are doing your chores after bedtime, right? So, like when somebody signs up on your website, they make it a welcome email, they make it a text reminder, they make it added to your email list, then you may tag them as a new lead. All of this stuff happens behind the scene and your customer doesn't even know it. So workflows basically do all of the automation work for you. So they pretty much send all the emails, they send all the text messages. You can assign a task. So maybe, one of the things that as a part of your workflow you want to happen is you want the lead to be sent to a caller. A caller can call the lead and close the lead for you, or get the lead ready to be closed. So all of that is what happens behind the scenes. Sometimes you can update somebody's contact info, or you could, trigger them to go into a follow-up series. So that's what a workflow does. So essentially, if you want to break it down by features, a funnel shows your pages to a customer, whereas a workflow automates everything that happens behind the scenes. Now, who sees it? A funnel, your customer will see it. A workflow, just you will see it and it'll be in your system. For example, a funnel can consist of three digital assets. Digital assets are simply like pages, right? So it could be your sales page, your checkout page, and your thank you page. A workflow would be something like, an email was sent, a tag was added, a reminder was sent. So in real talk, the funnel is the show and the workflow is the behind the stage, backstage crew, so to speak, right? So that's how it works. But to show you what this kind of looks like in Optimize Pro, let's go into the system and take a look. Okay. All right, so now we're in Optimize Pro or GoHighLevel. Optimize Pro is my white label version of GoHighLevel. It's pretty much the same software tool. This is just my branded version of it. All right, so when you go into the software, you want to go down the left navigation bar. First, you want to make sure you're in the right sub account. Then you want to go into the sites section. And once you get into the sites section, you want to go to the funnels section. All right, this is the funnel for my digital marketing guide and course. And for the most part, there are two stages and two steps in the funnel. So pretty much for the most part right now, there are two two digital assets, and that is the checkout page, which is also the sign up page. You may be asking, why do you not have a sales page? Right? Well, I don't have a sales page because pretty much I have a video, and the video comes before this, and the video is what people will see on social media. And once they watch the video, there's no need for me to have a sales page because the video pretty much says it all. So you go from the video page to the checkout page to the thank you page, right? So I have two pages in this funnel, two steps, pretty much checkout and pretty much thank you. So those are the two steps. That's the funnel. Those are the digital assets. Those are the things that people will see. Now, the thing that you must understand is while you have the pages, you have to figure out a way to connect the pages in order to make the funnel work. So that's what happens behind the scenes. And workflows in GoHighLevel is what makes that happen, right? So in order to go to workflows, you want to log into the system again, but you want to go into the automation section, right? So you will click on automations, and I'll go to the Faceless Digital Marketing Guide and Course Automation. I click that and I open it up, and it brings me to the workflow. So with this particular workflow that I'm working on is currently in the draft phases. I added the trigger. So what will trigger this workflow? What will fire it off, or like a lighter switch? What will trigger it to make it work, to make it start implementing and doing its thing, basically doing its automations behind the scenes? So once a payment is received for that particular product, what's going to happen first is I'm going to add a tag that this is a buyer, right? And then the second thing I want to do is I want to grant access to the course, right? So I want to grant access to the course, and I click on here and I'm able to do that. And all I have to do is click on these three buttons. And when it comes down, to the action pretty much is grant offer. And pretty much what I'm going to do is once the course is ready, I'm going to click on the course right here. And that's what the buyer is going to be granted access to, right? Then the next thing I want to happen is to send an email. And the email, once you kind of double click on that, you get the ability to put who the email is coming from, give it a subject line. If you have a template, you can use the template, and, pretty much you can create and formulate the email here, right? And then the next thing I want to do after this is I want to go to the next step, which is going to be send a text message. And then after I send a text message, that's it. I could also, after I get to the point where this, you get to this, the text message, I can add another tag, and another tag could put them in a longer flow. And a longer flow could be, or even I could add it here, just wait a couple of days and then ask them some questions. I could send them a survey. I can basically see how it's going, or I can schedule a call. I can make the call in automation, or I can assign a task. And assign the task would be, give the person a call to see how they're enjoying the product or something like that. So basically, you get the general idea. This is how it works. And that is the difference between a funnel and a workflow. So pretty much the funnel is everything that happens, with the customer, is everything the customer sees. So the customer will see the basic video, they will see the actual checkout page. They can make the purchase. After they make the purchase, that's going to trigger off this automation, which is the workflow. And once that payment is received, then I can, tag them as a buyer. I could grant them access to the course. I could send them an email reminding them this is how you get to it. This is your username, your password. Then I can send them a text message. I can add some additional automations in the background after that. I can either end it here and give them another tag to trigger off and fire off another workflow, or I can pretty much just stop it right there. So that's pretty much it. And that's the gist of the difference between what is a funnel and what is a workflow. And at the end of the day, you really kind of need both of these things, right? You need both the funnel and you need the workflow. They both work together and they put your business on autopilot. So your funnel, which are your digital assets, they will attract your customer and guide your customer through the process. And the workflow generally nurtures your customer and it converts them for you without you really lifting a finger. So if you really want more sales while you sleep, then you definitely want a funnel to get attention and a workflow to do the follow up and sometimes close the deal. In this particular case, this funnel really kind of closes the deal itself. And then after the deal is closed is when the workflow comes into play, because you don't want somebody to give you their money and then not get access to their product, right? You want them to give you their money and then you want them to have access to your product, and you want it to all work and you want it to flow seamlessly. So pretty much, that's the difference between a funnel and a workflow, and you definitely need both. So definitely do both. Create your funnel, but then create your workflow to activate the funnel. Okay, and I hope that makes sense. This is Tony Coleman-Brown. I hope you got a lot out of this video. Come back for more videos. And if you're new to High Level, definitely follow my channel as I create a ton of videos to help you really get to learn and know your Go High Level in a more intimate way so that you can really use it to blow up your business and take your business to the next level. So this is Tony Coleman Brown. Please make sure that you like, you comment, and you share. And most importantly, that you subscribe to the channel. All right, take care, and I'll see you on the next video.